Mama, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum, Kasim sir. How are you?
I am well, thank you, Betty. आप कैसे हो?
Good to see you. Where are you? आजकल
कराची में हो बेटा.
Karachi में. How is it there? How are things going?
Good. It's a lot more comfortable over here.
I'm sure. It's good to see you though. Always an active participant.
No, I have to be, bhai.
No.
I have to be. I'm so very glad that you guys are doing this. This is a wonderful initiative that you have taken.
Yes.
Something that is very, very necessary and something that's extremely good. Well done, Zishan.
Assalamualaikum, Kasim sahab. Thank you.
Excellent. Well done, board. You
Thank
guys
you
have
so
done a
much.
super good job.
Yes, it's all the appreciation that counts.
No, I have no need to not say what I think. I don't need to butter you up or something. It's a very honest expression of fact.
No, thank you so much.
Well done. Keep it up.
Thank you.
I would request, can you mute yourself?
Sorry?
Except Kasim sahab is speaking. So, and if you want to speak, please mute yourself so that the meeting is conducted in a smooth manner.
Zishan, there's a little bit of echo in your voice. I think the mic is picking it up from somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's fine. Assalamualaikum, everybody who's joined us. Assalamualaikum, Atif Saab, how are you?
Yes, Assalamualaikum. All well.
Assalamualaikum, Marine.
Assalamualaikum, Mehboob. Hi, Zishan. How are you doing?
Assalamualaikum, Zishan.
Hi, Assalamualaikum.
From Bank Alfalah.
We give 2 minutes, then we'll start at 10 sharp.
Yeah. So we are broadcasting this live on YouTube as well. So our YouTube audience can just tune in through YouTube. Those who didn't register on Zoom, so they will be able to watch it live as well.
Okay, good. Irfan Sahab has joined in also from State Bank. Irfan Sahab, Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum. And I see Imran Sahab also. Hello, Assalamualaikum everyone. Thank you all for taking out the time and doing this for us with us.
It's a pleasure. This is such an exciting new initiative that needs to be taken all across the world.
For sure. Assalamualaikum, Murtaza Sahab. How are you?
Assalamualaikum, Umama. I'm doing very well. Assalamualaikum to everyone on the call.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum. Deputy Governor Sahab. Assalamualaikum.
Atif Sahab. Good to see you, Ji. Very good to see
you. I hope you're well.
Good to see you,
Ji. Thank you, Atif Sahab. Balki, I just saw a missed call from you. I'm doing much better now, Ji. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Good to hear, sir.
Irfan Sahab, Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum, sir. How are you?
Doing well, Ji. How are you?
Assalamualaikum. This is Zishan. I'm the president for IBA Alumni Canada Chapter. And this is an initiative exclusively with Bank Alfalah and also State Bank. We are thankful that you have initiated a product for which all overseas Pakistanis are wanted to take part in, as it was difficult. It was difficult in handling electronically all our banking needs in Pakistan, and thank you for launching this product. I would welcome our guest speakers, which are the management of Bank Alfalah and also State Bank's Deputy Governor, and I would hand over the floor to our Treasurer, Umama. She would be hosting this event from now on. Thank you.
All right. So from my side as well, thank you. I think this is great. You all took up the time. I know you are all busy people, but this is definitely something that even us on a personal level are wanting to look into, because I know we all have issues trying to set up or trying to manage our accounts back home in Pakistan, especially now with all the travel restrictions. So you can't even go back every year or every 2 years, maybe. So just introducing our panelists today as well. So our guests of honor, the three, as Ishan mentioned, Mr. Murtaza Syed, Deputy Governor of SPP, Syed Irfan Ali, he is the MD, Deposit Protection Corporation, State Bank, Pakistan. And we have Mr. Atif Bajwa, President and CEO of Bank Alfalah. We also have panelists who are joining us today. So we have from the SPP, Mr. Nurullah, Senior Joint Director, Exchange Policy Department, State Bank of Pakistan. We have Mr. Zulfikar Khokar, Head, Pakistan Remittance Initiative, State Bank of Pakistan. And then joining us from Bank Alfalah, we have Ms. Mehreen Ahmed, Group Head Retail Banking. We have, Dr. Muhammad Imran, Group Head Islamic Banking. And then we have Mr. Khwaja Muhammad Ahmed, Group Head Operations, and Mr. Mohib Ahsan Khan, Group Head IT and CIO. So I think we can kick this off, and I would like to pass the floor to Mr. Atif Bajwa, who will start with his opening comments and remarks and take the floor from there.
Thank you, Umama, and thank you, Zishan. We're very grateful that the Board of Directors of IBA Alumni Canada Chapter has opened up this platform for us to be able to create awareness of a major new initiative that has been undertaken in Pakistan under the auspices of the State Bank of Pakistan. Clearly, this is something that we feel will be close to the hearts of people who have gone from Pakistan. Particularly, I think IBA has so many connections with people outside who are working very successfully globally, including Canada. And all of them have learned, improved their mettle and earned great respect outside. But they've all, we feel, here been looking for some financial connectivity to Pakistan. And this is the first time that a product is possible now, as was mentioned earlier. Some of the details will be given in the presentations later on, but I just want to acknowledge that this unique product that has been developed has been with the extreme focus and determination of the State Bank of Pakistan and the banks, 8 banks that came together to launch this product. It is in line with the vision that, of course, our PM has. So it's very, very good to see that we are able to move in that direction. But you know that this has been stated many times that Pakistan's greatest asset is really it's overseas Pakistanis, and it's extremely true. If you look at the numbers, the amount of remittances that are brought home by Pakistanis on an annual basis are really the engine of economic stability and growth in Pakistan. But I think that for the longest time, it was not possible for overseas Pakistanis to be financially connected. They have always been emotionally very connected, because as they leave for tough assignments abroad, they leave behind families and they're always emotionally connected to their homeland. But there was this piece that was missing, which was how to financially stay connected to Pakistan and to their families. So this is for the first time that a product it actually overcomes that difficulty. I think I will not take away the thunder of the presentation, and I'm sure that a lot of you are already aware of what the Roshan Digital Account is. But essentially, it is digitally making you connected with Pakistan and the Pakistani banking system without the hassle of actually physically being present, or with the overload of documentation that is required generally to open accounts. So this is a simplified and digitized approach to open accounts. And it's not just opening accounts. Once you've opened an account through Roshan Digital, you then have access to the entire range of financial services that banks offer. So for instance, Bank Alfalah has probably the widest range of products that are offered in the Pakistani market. And clearly all those services are then available to anybody who is able to open an account from abroad. That includes being able to make payments, utility bill payments on behalf of yourselves or your families. It includes also investments in various different avenues. It includes the new certificate that Pakistan government has issued called the Pakistan certificate with very attractive returns. It is in dollars and it is fully repatriable. It includes being able to invest in the stock market. It includes being able to participate in the real estate area as well, and a lot of other avenues, including mutual funds and specific instruments of savings. So that was previously not available. Also, transactionally, you can have debit cards issued, credit cards issued, and therefore transact like you would through any other account. And certainly the whole space of e-commerce, which is developing very rapidly in Pakistan, is available transactionally as well. So it really opens up all of Pakistan for you sitting far away from Pakistan. So this is something that we would like to go into a little bit more detail about. But before we do that, again, I would like to recognize that this initiative has been spearheaded within the State Bank by Dr. Murtaza Syed, and has been very, very strongly supported by Syed Irfan Ali, who is extremely active and is driving all the banks to improve their services and ensure that we reach more and more Pakistanis across the world. So this webinar is an exercise towards that end. I hope that we will be able to reach out to more people through this platform to attract them to investing in Pakistan, and also just creating transaction leads for themselves in Pakistan. So without going into any further details myself, I would first request Dr. Murtaza Syed to kindly say a few words about this initiative, how State Bank sees it, and what the key elements of this initiative are from State Bank's perspective. That will then be followed by a presentation made by Ahmed Gardezi from Bank Alfalah. And then hopefully we'll open it up for questions and answers. Thank you, Mama.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bajwa Saab. That was a great insight. And now, Mr. Murtaza, thank you so much. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Umama. Thank you, Atif Saab, and thank you, Zishan. And thank you to all the members of the IBA Alumni Chapter of Canada for organizing this event. I know it's very early in the morning on a Saturday, and I really appreciate people taking time out and joining us for this webinar. We're very excited about this initiative. There's a lot of innovative features that I'd like to highlight in a second. I have a short presentation to make. But just to say also that during these very difficult times, as Umama said, it's very difficult for people to travel physically. I hope everyone's families and friends are doing all right. These are very unprecedented times, but also times that I think emphasize the need to leverage more digital technologies. And that's exactly what we're trying to do through the Roshan Digital Account. Umama, I have a short presentation that 5 or 6 slides. So if I could be allowed to share the screen, then I'd be able to just talk through those slides.
Sure. Yes. Zishan will just pass that over to you.
All right. Well, just as I'm waiting for that to come through, I just wanted to say a couple of things. I don't want to repeat what Atif Saab is very nicely already, I think, highlighted, but just to say a couple of things. One is on a personal note. This initiative is very dear to my own heart because not very long ago, I myself was an overseas Pakistani. I was away from Pakistan for about 20 years. And earlier this year, I joined the State Bank. And I had felt the frustrations that I think a lot of our overseas Pakistanis feel in terms of being able to access the Pakistani banking system, in terms of being able to make investments here. I had found that process quite frustrating personally. You used to have to come to Pakistan for a long time, sometimes for weeks on end. And there were a lot of documents that banks used to ask you for you to be able to open a bank account. And often, like in my own case, you would just lose interest and just go back to your country of residence and rely on your family to do the banking transactions for you. So this is a little bit of a personal project also for me. I'm very excited about this initiative, which we launched about 2 months ago, which, as Atif Saab said, is basically aiming at making it much easier for overseas Pakistanis to open an account in Pakistan. They wouldn't need to come to Pakistan. They wouldn't need to go to an embassy or a consulate. And we're trying to really provide a digital experience in terms of being able to open a bank account very seamlessly from the comfort of your home or your office. And also, once the account is actually open, we want all the conventional banking services in Pakistan to be open to overseas Pakistanis. Plus, we want a couple of products to be specifically aimed towards them, such as the Naya Pakistan certificate, which is offering very high returns and which I will say a few words about. So this is a personal initiative for me. I'm very glad that banks like Alfalah have joined us in this endeavor of the State Bank to financially connect the overseas Pakistanis to the Pakistani banking system. That's my first point. The second point, I think, is that a very important additional component of this Roshan Digital Account is that you can take your money out anytime. The repatriability feature of these accounts, I think, is something that is very important. As an overseas Pakistani myself, not long ago, I was always afraid that if I sent money to Pakistan, getting that money out would be very difficult. And we have made all the regulatory provisions to ensure that the ease with which you can transfer the money in will be mirrored by the ease with which you'll be able to take the money out. So the full repatriability is guaranteed also with these accounts. The third thing that I would like to say before I move on to my presentation is that this has been, of course, a team effort. On our side, a lot of senior people have been involved with the State Bank. We're partnering with 8 banks. Bank Alfalah is one of them. And we have chosen these banks very carefully. We're trying to provide the best experience that the Pakistani banking system can provide to support this digital initiative. Having said that, whenever you try to do something big, there are always teething problems. And I would just urge all the participants on the webinar today to help us get the word out. And if there are issues that people are facing in terms of opening the account or using the account, to let us know. That is one of the reasons why we wanted to have this webinar, to make it very personal, is that you will be able to see me and all the other colleagues at the State Bank and also on Bank Alfalah side. Please view us as partners in this. I mean, if you are having issues, we are committed to helping you solve them. I'm very glad to report that since we launched the initiative 2 months ago, we have had more than 40,000 accounts opened and about $100 million has come in already. We expect that amount to go up now that the Naya Pakistan certificates have also been launched. So far we are, I think, doing quite well. We are learning as we are going along, as would be expected with any new initiative. But please, this is a personal request on my part to your listeners today to really help us get the word out, tell your friends about this account. And if you are having issues, please reach out to us, and we are committed to helping you solve them. So with that, I just have 7 or 8 slides that I would like to be able to share. Umama, I'm still getting the same message about the screen sharing feature being disabled. Is that something you can help with?
Yes, Zishan is controlling has a master control. Zishan I think he was saying it's enabled, so I'm not sure why the issue is arising. He's just trouble checking.
I see, it's working now.
It's working?
You.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
sorry for that.
I hope everyone can see my screen. Okay, so this will take about 7 or 8 minutes. I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I really want to leave more time for questions and answers, but let me just walk for the benefit of the participants on the webinar today. I'd just like to be able to talk through how you actually open a Roshan Digital account, what you can do with it once you've opened it, and a few useful resources, including our own email addresses so that you can reach out to us if you're having any problems. So the way I like to describe the scheme is that it basically has 2 pillars. One is that for the first time ever in Pakistan, customers are now being able to open accounts totally online without having to visit a bank branch or a government office. And we are starting with expatriates because we really wanted to pay tribute to our non-resident Pakistanis who have really helped Pakistan through various crises that we've had in the past, and including right now in the Corona crisis, where expatriate Pakistanis have really helped us weather the storm. And we in fact have got record remittances in the last 4 or 5 months that has really helped us maintain macroeconomic stability through this very difficult time in Pakistan. So that's the first element, that you'll be able to open your account totally in a totally presence-less way. The accounts are available in both Pakistani rupees and major foreign currencies, including the Canadian dollar. And as I will show you, there are very simple ID and documentation needs that are required to open the account. And the commitment from the banks is that once the documents are received and they're in good order, then the account should be open within 48 hours. This wasn't possible in Pakistan before. This is happening for the first time. The second pillar that I would like to highlight is that once you've opened the account, you will have access to the full range of what we call lifestyle banking opportunities in Pakistan. All kinds of conventional banking activities will be open. There are also a wide range of attractive investment opportunities, including the stock market, the Naya Pakistan certificate, and property market that will be possible through these accounts. And as I said, a very important feature to remember is that all the funds that you commit through these accounts can be taken out without any hassle, without any need for any regulatory approval. There is full repatriability. That is the technical term for this. In terms of how to open an account, you can either go to the State Bank's website. This is the link, and very prominently you will find in the top banner the Roshan Digital Account being advertised, or you could Google it. And one of the first things that will come up if you type Roshan Digital Account is in fact this link. If you go to the website, you'll find all kinds of information about the account. You'll find a message from the governor. You will find details about how the accounts work. And most importantly, you will find the icons of the 8 participating banks. And if you click on those icons, you will actually be able to go to the portals of the websites where the Roshan Digital Account can be opened. So you can pick any of these 8 banks. Bank Alfalah is, of course, one of the participating ones. We tried to choose the banks in a way that would ensure that the customer has a good experience. These are banks with relatively better online systems in Pakistan, and also banks that have relatively large presence in those jurisdictions where most Pakistanis live abroad. So this is the first, in the first round, these are the 8 banks, but going forward, we intend to broaden the number of banks offering the Roshan Digital Account. What information and documents will you need? While the form looks slightly different depending on which bank you choose, we have tried to streamline the forms as much as possible. As you can see, our intention is that basically you should be able to enter this information in about 15 or 20 minutes. The feedback from customers using Bank Alfalah is also very good. This process works fairly simply. And as you can see, there's just basic information you need to give about your identity, your passport numbers, your nationalities, your contact information, a couple of declarations depending on which jurisdiction you live in. These are tax declarations. And then of course, your source of income and the existing bank account details from where the funds will be remitted into the Roshan Digital Account. These are fairly standard things and are as streamlined as you can get given international regulations. In terms of what documents you need, you can do all of this yourself. You don't have to go to an embassy or a consulate to have things attested. You just have to scan your passport, your proof of being a non-resident, your proof of profession, and a variety of documents are admissible in this regard. For example, a business registration document or a bank account statement, an employment letter, a salary slip, any of this will do. A live photo and a signature. So the customers that have gone through this have told us that if you have all the documents ready, this can be done within half an hour. It's a fairly simple process. Once you open the account, what can you do with it? As I said, you will have access to the full suite of lifestyle banking products that are typically available to people in Pakistan, plus a few things that are specifically for non-resident Pakistanis. First of all, you'll be able to pay bills for your relatives here very easily. These are utility bills, school bills. You'll be able to do e-commerce. These will be backed by ATM and debit cards, as Atif said. You can also invest in the Naya Pakistan certificates, which I'll go into a little bit more depth in. But these are risk-free, government-backed dollar and PKR denominated bills that are offering excellent returns. You can also invest in stocks. When you open your account, you can indicate that you also want to have investment in stocks, and you can pick a broker, and this can happen very seamlessly. People are already doing it with the Roshan Digital Account. And as you know, the Pakistani stock market has actually been performing quite well in recent months, among the best performing in Asia. And something that is new is that you will also be able to buy property, both residential and commercial, through these accounts. And at any time, you can take your principal back. And if you make any capital gains on this property, you can utilize it within Pakistan and repatriate it after a period of 3 years. So this is also being offered for the first time, that you'll actually we have rules about how you can repatriate your property investments in Pakistan. And of course, given the emphasis being placed on construction by the new government, including several incentive packages, we think that the property market in Pakistan, prospects for it look very, very favorable over the next few years. Let me just say a couple of words about the Naya Pakistan certificate. These are special certificates that are issued by the government and are administered through the State Bank. These were launched in a ceremony about 10 days ago by the Prime Minister. And they come in both US dollars as well as in Pakistani rupees. They come in different tenors. If you wanted only to invest in very short-term tenors, 3, 6, 12-month certificates are available. If you wanted to lock in these rates for longer, then you can also invest in 3 and 5-year certificates. And you are allowed to encash early. It's not as if, if you've invested for 5 years, you are committed for 5 years. You can always get your money out earlier. The only thing is that the rate of return that will apply then will be the one that is closest to the period at which you retrieved your money. In terms of the actual returns, these are very attractive. If you look at the US dollar bills, these are between 5.5% to 7% returns annualized, depending on the tenor of the certificate that you buy. And in PKR, they're between 9.5% and 11%. At a time, remember, when sovereign risk-free rates of return in the advanced economies are close to 0 or maybe even negative, these rates we think are quite attractive, and we're already seeing significant interest in the Naya Pakistan certificates. In terms of what kind of tax requirements you will have, as overseas Pakistanis, there's no need to do any tax filing. There'll just be a 10% withholding tax on the profits that will be full and final and will be automatically deducted at the time of payout of the returns. One thing we have also done is that we have issued Islamic versions of these certificates. We had gotten feedback that this is very important for certain expatriates, And we're very happy to say that you can invest either in the conventional form of these or in the Sharia compliant forms. And again, like with the accounts, this money is fully repatriable and there'll be no questions asked when you're remitting these funds back to where you live. As I said at the beginning, one thing we are going to be monitoring very carefully is to make sure that the user experience remains very, very strong. And since this is the first time that we're trying to do something digital in Pakistan, we have had some teething problems in the beginning, but we are getting over them. And as I said, a lot of accounts have now been opened and the money is flowing in. But we are constantly keeping track together with the banks on what the customer experience looks like. And we are improving the experience as we go along. Banks have live customer support. They have constant customer engagement. They have complaint emails and helplines. They also daily report to us on a daily basis at the State Bank in terms of the number and the size of accounts that they have been able to generate, the time taken for the account opening, the 48-hour is very important to the State Bank, and also what kind of complaints they're getting and how they're resolving them. On the State Bank side, we have also set up a special monitoring unit and a complaint email and helpline, and we are engaging with the banks on resolving the complaints that we are getting, and we are soliciting feedback from the diaspora in webinars and also through WhatsApp groups. And we would encourage you to also let us know how you see the initiative and if you have any feedback for us. We're also monitoring social media to make sure that any issues that people are having are addressed in a timely way. In terms of the feedback email of the State Bank, it's rda.support@sbp.org.pk. I will also make this presentation available to the organizers after this, so I'm going to scribble this down, but this is the email that you can use to write directly to us. This is monitored every day, and we make sure that we take up whatever issues are being raised by customers with the banks with an eye to resolving them quickly. We are also disseminating publicly on a periodic basis the number of accounts that have been opened, the size of the inflows, the timeliness of transactions. You would have seen that the Prime Minister himself not long ago tweeted about 20,000 accounts having been opened. And now that number, as I said, is actually over 40,000. Let me just end with some useful resources that I think people should be aware of. One, of course, is the Roshan Digital Account website, which I showed you earlier. There's also a special website for the Naya Pakistan certificates, which you can access either again by Googling Naya Pakistan certificates or coming to the State Bank website. And you will get information there about how to invest in the Naya Pakistan certificates, basically, and the rate of returns. And as I said, you are basically able to invest in these through the Roshan Digital Account. We are also very active, the State Bank, on social media, and we would encourage you to follow us on the different social media accounts that we have. We are active on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is statebank_Pak. We also have a Facebook account and a YouTube channel where different videos are available, including some that are directed specifically for the Roshan Digital Account initiative. We also have some information material which we will share with the organizers, with the IBA Alumni Chapter. We have brochures on the Roshan Digital Account as well as the Naya Pakistan certificate. These are WhatsAppable and also printable. We have the TV commercial that supported the Roshan Digital Account and the Naya Pakistan certificates. We have the governor message for especially for the non-resident Pakistanis. We have a couple of videos. One is a question and answer video, which I think is quite useful, and I would encourage people to look at it. These are all available through our YouTube channel. So I will leave it at that, Umama, and hand it back to you and look forward to the questions.
All right, thank you so much. I think that was a great overview because that gave us an overall picture of the process and exactly what we're looking at. We're going to leave questions for the end right now, but we do have some of them coming in. Right now, I would just like to invite Ahmed Gardezi. He is the head retail digital for presentation on a little bit about Bank Alfalah. So I will open the floor to him. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Umama. Assalamu alaikum to the honorable guest distinguished panelists, and the esteemed members of the IBA Alumni Association, and our fellow overseas Pakistanis who have taken time out today and joining us for this webinar. I'll present to you the Bank Alfalah Roshan Digital Account offerings, and my purpose is to guide you step by step through the process and make you aware of how to open the bank account and what documents are required to open the account. I'll follow it up with the investment options that you will have once you have an account digitally opened. So the objective is to leave you with a full understanding of how you can take the next steps. Can you guys hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you. Ahmed, are you going to be sharing a screen? You're going to be sharing a presentation, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just let me know if you can share it so we can just check.
So with that, I'll now run a short presentation. Thank you, Mama.
Okay, perfect.
I'll just skip the background because Dr. Saab has very eloquently covered the vision and the statistics about the Roshan Digital Account. So here with Bank Alfalah, customers have the option to open both conventional account or the Islamic banking account, while the set of features and the facilities which are available, they are both the same across conventional as well as the Islamic offering. So I'll now talk about the various product feature sets, and we'll talk about them step by step so that you would know what is all that you can do remotely while being away from Pakistan, but still having a banking relationship with one of the leading banks in Pakistan. You would be able to execute the transactions. So it comes with the multi-currency offerings. You could choose to have any of the 7 currencies for opening of an account. You have PKR, you have USD, you have pound, you have euro as an option. You can open an account with a Canadian dollar. You could have it in the UAE dirhams or Saudi Arabia Riyal. Both Islamic as well as the conventional accounts, they come with current or the savings option. There's no minimum balance requirement for any of the account that you choose to open. The accounts can only be fed by the foreign inward remittances. With the Roshan Digital Account, there are multiple forms of investment opportunities. These are Naya Pakistan certificate, access to Pakistan's stock market, and the investment in the real estates. With Roshan Digital Account, the money that you send into Pakistan, you have easy repatriation, which means you can take the money away back to the country of origin. On top of it, the profit that you would earn on. The product suite, it comes with a free debit card. You could sign up for the SMS alerts that keeps you alert with the transactions happening on your account. You could also sign up for a free e-statement and choose the frequency of the e-statement as per your requirement. You would get a 24/7 access to internet banking and also the mobile app called Alpha. With that, you would also have the facility to do funds transfer within and outside Bank Alfalah within the local industry. On top of it, you would be having the facility to do utility bill payment. So when you go to bankalfalah.com, that is the corporate website, this is the landing page that you arrive at. So if you look at this page, this provides you the entire information that you would want to know about the Roshan Digital Account. You have both conventional as well as the Islamic banking account opening options. So the visitors to our website, just on the landing page, they can find all the necessary information they have to about both Roshan Digital Account and the Naya Pakistan certificate. I'll now talk about the eligibility criteria. So individuals with the age 18 and above who are non-resident Pakistanis, or people having dual nationality, foreign nationals, but having Pakistan origin card, they can open the account remotely. Employees of both federal as well as the provincial governments who are posted abroad, they can open the Roshan Digital accounts, as well as those Pakistanis who are resident here, but they have declared their assets as per the wealth statement in the last tax return with the Federal Bureau of Revenue they can open a foreign currency Roshan Digital account. Now coming to the set of requirements that you would need to be having with you handy while opening the account online. These are scanned copy of your NICOP, POCs, CNICs, or the smart CNICs. You could have it handy with you, or you may have the color scanned copies or the pictures of these stored on your computer or the device that you're using for opening up the account. So either which way that you would have it, you would be needing these documents to upload during the journey. You would have to take the live picture. So depending upon the device that you're using, so preferably your mobile phone, you can use that, because at a certain step, it would ask you to take a live picture. There's a very simple requirement of you signing up on a blank piece of paper and just uploading it as the signatures. So that would be taking as your signatures for writing checks in future and as a signature for the account opening. There's an additional requirement which includes proof of profession or the source of income. So if you're salaried, your salary slips, your job certificate would do. In case of business, you can upload your tax returns, or you could also upload your rent agreements or any source of income that would be considered for the proof of income. The few other requirements which would be required during the process are, this is CRS form. This is to basically have you provide the information vis-a-vis your individual tax residency. That is, since you are based outside Pakistan, so you would have to provide the country, the tax ID number of that country, and the reason if you don't have the tax ID issued by the country of origin. Secondly is a requirement around FATCA. So this is a US government requirement. So there will be few very short questionnaires with the yes or no answers. So this will determine your linkages with the US as US person or not. So in case of being a US person, there is one more requirement, and that is to do with the W-9 form. And this additional form requires just the customers mentioning their social security number or the employee ID number, which is issued by the US authority. And the zakat declaration is not applicable on all accounts. Zakat is applicable only on the PKR accounts, and particularly those which are savings in nature. I'll just provide a recap into the overall features of the Roshan Digital Account that we just talked about. So the onboarding experience is totally end-to-end real time. So there's no physical visit required for you to open an account with a bank in Pakistan. Multi-currency offerings, as we talked about, we have got the options of 7 currencies to choose from. Ease and convenience, yes, you would get 24/7 internet banking, mobile app, as well as you could sign up for the e-statements and the alerts. You could also have the debit card. Regarding the investment opportunities, I'll talk about in the following slides. So briefly mentioning here, we have the Naya Pakistan certificate, we have the investment options in Pakistan Stock Exchange, and the real estates. Last but not the least is the repatriation. So the funds that you would remit into Pakistan into your account, you can easily take them back whenever you would want without any regulatory approval required. Talking about the Naya Pakistan certificates, these are the high interest yielding sovereign investment certificates. Customers have the option to have both US denominated as well as the PKR denominated certificates. It comes in various tenors, starting from 3 months going up to 5 years. There's no zakat deductible on the Naya Pakistan certificates. There's an option for premature encashment if for any needs, for any purpose, you were to encash the certificate earlier on before maturity. You could avail financing from the banks against the Naya Pakistan certificates. So the certificates would be used as a pledged security. Their returns offered up to 7% on the US denominated certificates and up to 11% on the PKR denominated certificates. Moving on to the next slide, here you would see the different tenors mentioned along with the profit rates across both USD and the PKR denominated certificates. Just to mention here that there's going to be a withholding tax of 10% upon maturity. So that'll be applicable on the profit only. There's a minimum investment criteria. So for US denominated certificates, the minimum US dollars investment is 5,000 with multiples of USD 1,000 thereupon. For PKR denominated certificates, the minimum investment is PKR 100,000 and multiples of 10,000. The second investment arm or the investment opportunity is the Pakistan Stock Exchange. So once you get your account open, you would automatically receive the credentials for you to log in into the Bank Alfalah's internet banking or the mobile app called Alpha. So once you log in into the Bank Alfalah, over there you would find the menu option on the left, and I'll show you in the following screen that how you could go and set up a CDC account. You would have to agree to the terms and conditions. That's where you would be given the option to choose a broker. So there are 8 brokers available, among which you can choose. So there's a Bank Alfalah as well. So there's an Alfalah SLCL. On top of it, there are a few other private brokers available in the menu options. Moving on. So this is the internet banking page. Once you log in, you would see on the left, there's this menu. In the middle, you would find CDC, called the Central Depository Company. So that's where you would start off your journey to invest in stocks. Typically, it takes about 24 hours to 48 hours for your information. Once upon your consent is shared with CDC, they would pass it on to the broker of your choice, and they would have your account open. So once the account is set up, both with the broker and a CDC IS account has been opened, that's when you would be able to make investments in the stocks. You can buy and sell the stocks. Also, the third options for the investments for the overseas Pakistanis is in real estate. So Bank Alfalah, along with other industry players, we are making tie-ups with DHA. So DHA Islamabad, DHA Peshawar, DHA Karachi, and inshallah going forward, very soon DHA Multan is going to come on board. So that's where you would have the options to make investments into the DHA across Pakistan. So with that, I conclude my presentations. The contact us option is available. You can write to us at contact@bankalfalah.com. The website is also available, which is bankalfalah.com. As I just mentioned earlier on, at the landing page, you would find anything and everything to do with Roshan Digital Account right up front when you arrive at our corporate website.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, Mr. Atif Bajwa. Thank you, Murtaza Syed and Ahmed, for your presentation. I would give a background of how this all got started. Actually, Marine Ahmed, group head, retail head, group head for Bank Alfalah, is a friend in IBA Alumni. And through her marketing efforts in different groups, we got to know that Bank Alfalah is offering RDA accounts, and we then connected together to host this event. And thank you, Marine, for your efforts and coordinating all the coordinating everything to get this done. And I have a few questions to start with, and also the floor is open for everybody to ask questions. My first question is, we have different currency rates in Pakistan. That's an open market rate and the bank rate, which has been different. I've been living in Pakistan for my major part of the life. So why would people convert through the bank rate if they can do an open market conversion easily? And would cash be available to their relatives in Pakistan so that they can convert those currencies to any money exchange service provider? And my second question is, if I want to invest in Pakistan in property, and I definitely there are good returns, and I can take back my my principal and the profit after liquidating my property investments after 3 years. But there is also the official and unofficial rate difference, and how would that be calculated? And is there any procedure in place to for calculating it, and how to address it?
Allow me, Zishan. This is Syed Irfan Ali, from the State Bank of Pakistan, and I'd like to respond to your questions. So good to see that you've lived most of your life in Pakistan, so you can understand things quite well. One is that since you're dealing with the bank, so your exchange rates would be determined by the interbank rate. And so that has absolutely nothing to do with the way the curb market behaves. But anyway, for your satisfaction, the current exchange policies, we call it market based. So there is literally these days, there is no difference between the interbank rate and the curb rate. One is that's the first response to your question. The second is that when you would be opening your account and you would start the transactions, your bank would be telling you the buy and sell rate. So they'll be displaying the rate at which you will, the currency transactions that could take place. They would let you know that. All banks would be doing the same. They have been directed by the State Bank of Pakistan to do so. 3, yes, you can transfer it's your money, it's your account. You wish to hand it over to anybody, do that. You can transfer it to anybody, do whatever with this money you want to, but cash cannot be deposited in your account in Pakistan. Thank you. Sorry, I did not put my video on. I forgot to do that. This is me. I hope you can see me now. Sorry, I forgot to put my video on.
Sir, one thing I would like to add regarding the permissibility to withdraw foreign currency from the account. Yes, from your foreign currency Roshan Digital Account, you can withdraw the funds in foreign currency as well as in PKR.
Thank you, Irfan Sahab. Thank you, Sahab, for clarifying that. And I think the other question is regarding real estate. So the question about the official transaction versus the unofficial transaction in real estate is obviously an important one. But I think we have to abide by the local rules and regulations. So what is permissible is what is shown officially, and that is allowed to be remitted out.
There is a substantial difference. It's almost half the actual property value between the official rate and which is called the DC rate and the market rate. So how do you, what do you do with 50% of your investment then?
I think that it's an important point. Agar Deputy Governor Sahab ya Irfan Sahab iske upar kuch comments dena chahe, I can also add on. I have some views, but anything that State Bank would like to say on this?
Thank you, Atif Sahab. I think it is indeed an important question. In fact, this is why I think property has been quite tricky in the past for us in terms of thinking about how to increase access to it from non-resident Pakistanis, and also the repatriability feature. One thing we are insisting on, and we are going to, I think, see how this goes and then be prepared to refine the scheme as we go along, is that both when you're buying the property as well as when you're selling it, there should be a valuation done of the property by at least 2 valuators among the companies that are listed on the PBA's website, the Pakistan Banking Association website. So I think in our desire to formalize the economy more generally as part of this new government, I think we will insist that the valuation be done according to the highest professional standards. And it is on that basis that we will try to establish the value of the property, both when you're buying it as well as when you're selling it. But I don't know if Irfan Sahab wants to add something on this.
Qasim Sahab, I'd like to respond. I think there's a deeper, in fact, thought that went into it, and we are obviously fully aware of what the Deputy Commissioner or the DC rate, as it is locally called. So that is why, as Murtaza sir told you, the 2 valuations करवानी है, खरीदते वक्त भी और बेचते वक्त.
Sir, खरीदते वक्त जब आप करवाएंगे evaluation, तो nobody will give you the actual market evaluation.
So they will. They will. It's your choice, sir. Why the deputy commissioner rate is chosen is that you pay lesser duty. So you pay the right taxes that are to be paid. The government wouldn't mind those taxes at all. So it's entirely up to the people who transact as to what how do they want to transact. It's not binding on people to observe the deputy commissioner rate. That's the minimum rate. So if you want to transact on the right rate, you can do it, sir.
Then, as long as you pay the tax on whatever.
Sir, as long as you pay the tax, and so, sir, you can do it.
I have a question. And my question is that how do you regulate repatriation of funds from from Pakistan back and to the home country, or from the home country to Pakistan, the transfer of funds between two countries, given the regulations with the new legislation regarding to FATF?
Sir, Murtaza, allow me to respond to that question. Thank you, sir. I think that remains a challenge, but let me tell you that the latest round of FATF evaluations of Pakistan that have been going on, and Pakistan has remained under the microscope for the past couple of years. The financial sector of Pakistan at this moment in time stands fully complied with FATF regulations. So there were 27 action items, 21 stand fully complied, and all items that pertain to the State Bank of Pakistan or to the financial sector stand fully complied with.
You're still on the grey list, nevertheless.
Nevertheless, because for other reasons, but not for the financial sector. Financial sector stands fully qualified.
What to say, yes, sir, but when you repatriate into
Sir, no
Pakistan.
Issues. Sir, allow me to complete what I said. Then what will happen is that we have allowed under the regulations the banks to repatriate whatever profit that you make or whatever funds that get matured in the NPCs, you will get it. The banks don't have to come to the State Bank of Pakistan. They will just do it on their own. Fully allowed in the regulations, in the rules, nothing to do with State Bank. The money comes in and goes out like anywhere else in the world. And like I told you, Pakistan stands fully compliant to the FATF regulations vis-a-vis the action plan. And I think this should be a proud moment for all of us.
So another question, I'd like to have another clarification. And before I do that, let me introduce myself. My name is Mohammed Ali Dariwala from class of 1986. I'm Marines class fellow. So the other question is that how do we protect, as non-resident Pakistanis, how do we protect from being, like labeled as, money launderers, or, not that, this is our, these are our intentions, but how do we protect ourselves from being, labeled as, doing anything wrongful? Or, like we're just doing, legal transactions, we're making legal transactions to and back from Pakistan, but how do we, protect ourselves? So, of doing anything that, that may be legal, but, it may be considered illegal.
Like I told you, sir, Pakistan, so you can talk to your bank first. There is no Pakistani banking system involved. You live in Canada. The Canadian financial system is fully involved. There is a huge Pakistani diaspora that lives all over Canada, and we get hundreds of millions of dollars from Canada and from the US. In fact, from the US and Canada, we get about $3.5 billion as remittances every year. So none of the Pakistanis are classified as money launderers or terrorist financiers. Absolutely not. So don't.
You have to answer a lot of questions to our bank. For instance, I remit money to RBC.
Sir, all over the world.
I think, sir, also step in to try to placate some of the concerns. I think, while you may be right that the perception has been a tough one for Pakistan, and I know that there is an enhanced due diligence of Pakistanis and the money that flows from Pakistan at your end, at the end of Western banks. But I can tell you hand over heart that the compliance regime that we follow now here under the state bank supervision is absolutely one of the strongest that I've seen, at least in the region or globally, having worked globally. Maybe we don't come up to the standard of some countries, but I can tell you that we are actually very strong as far as compliance requirements are concerned. Now, as far as the perception is concerned, that's a bigger thing that Pakistan as a country has to overcome. And if you're facing any issues as far as enhanced due diligence from your banks are concerned, we will, as your bank here, ensure that we will provide all the documentation and the supporting evidence that will help you, because we'll be following these transactions hopefully end to end, and we'll be able to provide that kind of comfort. So while we can't change people's minds overnight, but I think you need to have comfort that the financial services sector here has actually been managed very well with an extreme amount of conservatism, and hence the strength of the banking sector is probably better than most countries you'd find.
I have just one question. Do you have a correspondent arrangement with any of the Canadian banks?
Yes, we do, and we can share that with you. We do work with Canadian banks and US banks and various others.
No, that I understand, but do you have it with all 5 of the banks here, or do you have it with any one so that we can move our account to that particular bank then? It becomes easier.
So, Khwaja our head of operations is here. He'll just
we to transmit money. This is Khwaja Ahmed from Bank Alfalah. To transmit money from Canada, we have a correspondent, Citibank London. So if you go to your bank and ask them to transmit the money, they have the information of every bank, and they will transmit the money through our correspondent. So our correspondent for Canadian currency is Citibank London.
Oh, sorry. We just have a question. Yasser has been waiting. So Yasser, if you want to go ahead and ask your question. Then I have another 2 questions that have been posed on the chat. So I just want to put those forward as well. Go ahead, Yasser.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My question is, I applied for Roshan Digital Pakistan account 2 weeks ago in Standard Chartered Bank, and it has been 2 weeks past, and then still now it has not been opened. My question to someone from State Bank, when are we going to make all these opening banks and all these things easier? They are actually asking for my tax return. I am taxi driver here. I don't know how to prove taxi driver, someone taking cash payments. I have proved through tax return as my source of income. Is it not enough? I mean, they say, okay, you need company. If you're working with some company-owned companies, letterhead, they say you're working with, I'm not working for someone. I'm working for myself. We call it self-employed here. So I don't know how the system is going to be ease of doing business on easy things. And it has been more than 2 weeks now, and then they are not opening it. And then the banks need to adopt easy practices, make things simple. I mean, if I have a problem after this digital bank, okay, I would be waiting the whole month for my problem to be solved. So the staff at the bank, they need to be more trained or whatever. I don't know how someone from the State Bank will help.
Thank you very much for letting us know that about your experience. I'm sorry you're having problems. As I said at the beginning, when we first launched the scheme, I think there was a deluge of interest. There was a lot of interest from people, and maybe banks had not set themselves up for that volume of applications. I'm disappointed to hear that even more recently, in your case, you are having problems, because our understanding was that over the last 2 months since this initiative has been launched, the account opening process has become much easier and banks have become much more responsive. What I can assure you though, Yasser Saab, is that if you write to us at rdasupport@sbp.org.pk, again, I will share this presentation with the organizers and they can tell you the email if you haven't had a chance to write it down. Please write to us, give us your details. We have been doing this with other people as well over the last couple of months. We will work with Standard Chartered Bank to make sure that they can resolve your problem. Because you're absolutely right. If we are not able to make this process simple, then we have failed. And we don't want that. In fact, as I was telling you, we are happy that more than 40,000 people have been able to open accounts. But of course, I realize that, in your case, you're having problems. But I can assure you, this is exactly why we're having the webinar today. You can put some faces to the names that you might be seeing. Please reach out to us, and we will do whatever we can to make sure that Standard Chartered responds to you adequately and quickly.
I just wanted
I'd
to.
just like to add here,
I just.
give a minute. Murtaza, while we were hearing Hafiz Saab's question, while we are equally disappointed that we have referred it to Standard Chartered just now. And so we will resolve this issue, and it's equally embarrassing for us. We don't want people like Hafiz Yasser who work so hard as taxi drivers, and they are hard-earned money. They want to send it to Pakistan. So that is very disappointing. Hafiz Saab, I assure you that this issue will be resolved.
Thank you.
May I say something, yes, sir? The worst bank to deal with in Pakistan presently is Standard Chartered.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Well,
Any Pakistani bank is a million times better than them now.
Okay, I'm just going to cut everyone for a couple of minutes. So what we're going to do is, like Murtaza Saab said, and as Ahmed's presentation, when we are going to send the email to all our participants and our whole subscription directory for this webinar, we're also going to attach their presentations. So you will have access to all the links that Murtaza Saab mentioned, all the email addresses. So I know there are people with individual issues right now that my account had this, and then you can direct it accordingly. I just have one question that I want to quickly ask. Someone said if they want to open a CAD account from here in Pakistan, or USD for that matter, so if they're transferring $1,000 to your 1,000 US in the RDA account, what are the service charges that are applicable? Because I'm sure it won't be just 1,000 straight in and out.
Let me answer this question. If you want to transfer money into Pakistan, there are no inward charges as far as crediting in your account. But if you pass through a correspondent, they will charge you on that, but not the collecting bank where you open the account. So, and one more thing I just wanted to add, I just listened to Mr. Hafiz Saab on there's a very clear guideline from the regulator for the self-employed account holders. You just have to give a simple declaration that you are self-employed and evidence of your statement and your account is open. No need for any complicated documentation in that. And if you come, if you bank with us, we will open your account very quickly.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So I know we've gone over our 1 hour time slot, but I want to appreciate everyone who's still here and for all those questions. Our guest speakers, Atif Saab, Murtaza Saab, Irfan Saab, thank you so much for taking out the time. I think this was really helpful, even if we answered just a few questions, but I think they were very relevant questions at the end, especially in the Q&A. We will be posting for all our participants and everybody else. We'll post this. It was live on YouTube. It will be available, and we will send out an email with all the matter and the presentations discussed. If there's anybody else, again, you can reach out to them individually and send in your concerns. Thank you again. I will pass it off to Zishan for the closing remarks. That's all from my side. Thank you.
And Zishan, before you close it, I'd just like to say that, yes, I noticed that a number of questions that were being asked from the chat channel, which have been answered as we went along. So I'm glad that there's a lot of interest and therefore a lot of questions. A lot of them have been answered, and of course, as you said, more will be answered as you share them with us or with the State Bank of Pakistan. And in my own specific in particular, thanks to IACC for holding this and allowing your platform to to be used for spreading the word. And of course, also to State Bank, Deputy Governor Saab, Irfan Saab, and Noor Saab. Thank you very much for being here to help us answer some of these specific questions that our customers raise. Thank you. Zishan, over to you.
Thank you, Atif Bajwa sir. Thank you for being here and providing us with your prestigious time. And thank you, Murtaza Syed sir, Deputy Governor, State Bank of Pakistan, and Mr. Syed Irfan Ali, MD Deposit Protection and Corportation, State Bank of Pakistan. And Ahmed, once again, with all your coordinating efforts and your presentation, thank you for being here and presenting details about RDA account. I would like to thank all the participants and also Nurullah Saab, who was replying to all the questions in the chat offline, not on the screen, to all the questions posted on chat. If you have any questions, you can reach to us through our email address provided in the registration email. And other than that, we would be following up with the presentation shared with us by Murtaza Syed and Ahmed, so that you can benefit from it, and also links for opening an account with Alfalah, so everybody could benefit and avail their facilities. Thank you.
Zishan, thank you very much. Maybe I can also just use my last minute to thank you and Umama and Mehreen and the IBA chapter of Canada for organizing this. We really enjoyed it. I think my parting message to people on the webinar is that this initiative is for you, and we are committed to making it a success. And please work with us, spread the word. Let us know how it's going. You know who we are now. We've met through this webinar. We've also shared our email address, and we are very committed to making this initiative a success, to opening this new channel of connectivity, as Atif Saab said, between the Pakistani banking system and our Pakistani citizens living abroad. And I really look forward to more interactions in the future with IBA, which of course is a premier institution of Pakistan and a source of great pride for the country. So really appreciate Atif Saab, Zishan Saab, Umama, Mehreen in particular, and everybody else who was involved, and also people who spent their Saturday morning chatting about the Pakistani banking system. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to the IACC for
thank you,
organizing
Rabani Saab.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you, Zishan. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mehreen.
Thank you for organizing. Thank you, Ali, for putting me in touch with this fabulous bunch of people. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.